Evening and welcome to tonight's Board of Education meeting. If you can please stand for the pledge.
Flag of the United States of America.
I'd like to hold a moment of silence for the following individuals. Andrew Reed, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Susan Jane Burnup, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Barbara Ross, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. And Dolores Blumen, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Thank you. We have one presentation this evening, and it's our annual food services update. So, Wendy.
Well, the good news is we are not here tonight to discuss school lunch prices. I know you'll be happy. So I thought we'd just cover a little bit about what's happened in the last year and especially what's happened this last school year with free meals for all students. Okay, perfect. So as you know, we've had a number of schools participating in the community eligibility provision for the last few years. But in the spring last year, they decided to try and open up the CEP program to more school districts or more school buildings. So the state said that the first thing they were going to do is offer us subsidies for those paid meals because we used to receive a percentage of reimbursement at the free rate and a small percentage at the paid rate. So in the spring, they said, let's just cover the cost of the free meals for you. So for example, if we had 60% free meals, we were paying out of pocket that 40%. So that really helped us financially. Then in October, they said, okay, you used to have 40% of your students that are directly certified, meaning students that receive SNAP, Medicaid, TANF, foster students, migrants, homeless. They changed that percentage. They dropped it from 40% to 25%. So we did a lot of scrambling in November because we had already pulled in a couple of schools in the fall at that 40%. And we resubmitted a contract to state ed, and we were able to pull all of our school buildings into the program, therefore offering free meals to all students. And I just really wanted to show you how COVID and CEP has really impacted our program. So in 1920, we were chugging along. We had 4 buildings participating in the CEP program, and then COVID hit in the spring. So that kind of slowed down our distribution of hot meals to students in the school building. Then in 2021, obviously, we had most students, distance learning. So we were handing out meals off buses, the warehouse, that type thing. So we really saw a decrease in meal counts. Then in 2021-22, when students came back into the building, the government said, okay, we're still in the midst of COVID. Let's offer free meals to all students. So you saw our numbers really spike. Then in 22-23, they said, okay, we're done with offering free meals to all students. And we went back to that system of free, reduced, and paid meals, except for the buildings that were certified CEP prior. Then this year, we started off the beginning of the school year having pulled in additional buildings such as the high school, some of the other elementary buildings. And then in November, is when we got the approval and started serving free meals to all students. So you can really see the spike this year in our meal counts, which is really great service for these families. I'm sure you've all been grocery shopping and get sticker shock. So I really think we're providing a great service to help these families out daily. I think the interesting thing is, how many students are really participating or using our services. So this is based actually on attendance, not actual enrollment data. So as you know, we have attendance figures. There's always going to be a certain number of students out on any given day. Main Street's a little weird because it's a half-day situation. We have students coming and going, so we expect to see those numbers a little bit lower. In the high school, it kind of looks a little questionable, but only 63% versus some of the other buildings. But you've got to remember, we have a large population coming in late, leaving early, heading off to BOCES. So we're serving about 1,000 students a day at the high school. That's pretty good. And then of course we have our buildings that have been in there for quite some time and really used to the program, such as Roxborough Middle School, Smith Road. What really surprised us this year was how many students at Gillette Road were participating in the program, because they used to be one of the buildings that had the lowest free and reduced rates. And this is just a quick snapshot to show you how CEP impacts our overall budget and allows us to buy more food and equipment for the students. And again, this is just a basic breakout of really where we spend our food. And as you can see, of course, a majority of our money, we spend a lot of money on food. We spend a lot of money on salaries. And this is last year's data. This year's data will look a little bit different because we've been buying a lot of equipment. So as you all know, we are not part of the general fund. We are a non-for-profit and have our own budget. Therefore, we are not allowed to have a lot of money in the bank. State Ed says that we can operate with 3 months operating costs at the end of the school year. And if we have more than that, then we need to spend that down to keep our non-for-profit status. So at the end of last school year, we did have excess funds, and we chose to use those funds primarily buying equipment. We have been limping along for years. As you know, our revenue's kind of been going up and down for years, so we've been holding off buying major equipment. We really started to dig in and look at the older equipment in the buildings and see what we were spending a lot of money on repairs and replacing those pieces. The other thing we're doing with that extra revenue is that we're spending money on the type of food that we're purchasing, the variety of food that we're purchasing. This year alone, we spent about $175,000 just on fresh fruits and vegetables. That doesn't include canned fruits, frozen vegetables, that type thing, which is quite an increase over years prior. We are also looking to expand our offerings in terms of a variety in cultural items. We're really trying to introduce the kids to things like grain bowls. We've been working with a local chef from one of our purveyors to create recipes for us. And we're doing that as a group with other school districts in the area, hoping that kids will accept this, because really the only thing they eat is pizza, chicken, and chicken. So it's so true. And that's really it. We just wanted to give you a quick summary. I know you all knew that we had gone free, but we just wanted to kind of give you a quick update on things. Look very good in the food service department, and we have 3 more years of CEP approval under this contract, and we hope to continue that down the road. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
So first off, thank you so much for all your hard work. We wouldn't really be here without everything you've done. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Second off, my question is, so with the ever growing increase in like vegan and vegetarians, what would be the viable options for like main course for those students?
Well, that's a good question. And State Ed is really working on what constitutes, because we have to offer at least 2 ounces of protein every day. And State Ed is really coming up or working hard to come up with a kind of a scale of what constitutes 2 ounces of protein, how much tofu we have to offer a student. We can offer beans, and we do offer beans as a substitute. We do have a small population right now that asks for vegetarian items. I'll tell you, the problem we have with feeding such a mass of students, over 4,000 students a day, is that the things that we buy come in bulk. And if we buy tofu and we have 4 kids in a building eating it, we're scurrying around trying to get rid of the rest of the tofu so it doesn't go bad. So we are monitoring the requests for vegetarian items and seeing how we can encourage more students to be interested so we can buy those products and not waste them. Yeah.
Not a question, Wendy, but a comment. I'm so very, very happy to see those numbers. More students that have a great breakfast, great lunch, academically, the scores go up, and
Yes.
it's been proven. Also, congratulations, not only to you and your leadership, but to the people that work in the building every single day, along with the bus drivers, and I think the secretaries, the food service people, give each child a smile and so forth. I also want to thank you because we approved it last week in BOCES that you do provide the food for our Thompson Road campus. So our STAR students and our Innovation Tech students and our CTE students. Well, no, sorry, they don't get fed, but thank you for that. And they too get it free. But I know that after the national government, and Paul knows this, after the national federal government stopped this, I was just very appalled that it was stopped. And we need to thank, because I remember Dan being over at Bear Road, sorry, Carl W. Siley, Bear Road. And we had both Mr. Sturpey and also John Mannion, who really fought to get this done through the state. Without their help, I don't know where we would go, but thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the comments from the audience. We don't have any speakers this evening, but as always, the board welcomes any community comments for anyone who would like to give them. Board committee reports. Do we have anything on policy?
Still waiting.
Okay, and I know we don't have anything on legislative yet. So Bob, I'll just hand it over to you for your OCM
I'm
report.
just going to make it really short. I did not send a written report of OCM BOCES. I wait and do it in August. I do a July and August report. But a couple events that are coming up. August 1st, this is one of my favorite. Thank you, district, for letting us use Roxborough Road Middle School is the LPN graduation. It's a really awesome graduation when you see each of the people get pinned, and it might be their little daughter that's 3 years old that pins them, or their mother or their father. It's just a wonderful program. The other thing I talked about last meeting was August 6th and August 7th. There will be the Equity Catalyst at West Hill High School. And I know probably Dan and Chris are going. Maybe some of you would like to stop in. It's all about DEI. So thank you.
Dan.
Thank you. Not a whole lot, but I want to take a little time. This past Friday, as everyone is aware, there was a major outage that was worldwide. And the crew that came in to work on the systems here in North Syracuse, I know that TJ was in by 6 o'clock, Jason Clark, Ryan, but they had to call in the tech TAs, and just about all of them came in, dropped everything, because I don't know if you know, each machine had to be handled personally by hand to reboot. And so we had systems here, BOCES Summer School, we had the other Gen Ed Summer School going. We had some major things that were happening that they had like little time to get done. This board meeting, Jill's computer was off. We had to prioritize payroll. There were certain systems, and they got it done in short order. It was a feat to be seen. They were moving at breakneck speed to get our systems up and running. As you know, there are airlines and things that were still having trouble. So again, a major compliment to the tech team and everyone involved. Last week, Don, myself, and Matt Irwin did a walkthrough at the high school of the facilities there in the construction site. They've really come a long way, and now it's been almost a week. I'd like to see more. Two areas in particular, the auditorium, as you know, we added this piece, and it's a fly tower. So for those fine arts, they're going to be able to raise sets high up into the ceiling and be able to switch without having to constantly rebuild. We're going to be definitely on the map with that piece of equipment that's happening. So that's what's going on, at least right now. Summer's a little bit of downtime, a lot more just renovations happening. And I know Don went over to St. Margaret's last week, so that's moving well, so that we'll be ready for Lakeshore going over there in the fall.
Great. Do we have any board comments?
Just a brief one that this past weekend, Friday, Saturday, Bob and I attended the NSBA Leadership and Education Conference. Just wanted to, excuse me, had a cutout cookie stuck in my throat. Just wanted to highlight just a couple of things, and I probably will put together some notes and make you read them down the road from here. But there are some workshops on issues like declining enrollment, teacher shortage, which was a pretty fascinating one. AI, which I thought I was scared before, but I'm more scared now. Bob attended something on engaging student voices. It's a valuable workshop. This is the third time they've done this. They started this up again shortly after COVID, and it is pretty valuable. So it's just something I would like y'all to just keep in mind, because it's great to network with other board members, but some great education pieces there. We are members of NSBA, and they do have their annual conference this October, which is in city of New York this year. Thank you.
Anyone else? Moving on to routine action items. Do I have a motion to put A, the consideration of approval of both the organizational meeting and regular meeting from July 8th? Mark, Xavier, all those in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. I'd like to place B and C together, the consideration of classification and placement of students. Do I have a motion for that? Beth, Josh, all those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. And the declaration for marketable and non-marketable surplus. Yeah, quite a few things on here. A lot of old computers. Do I have a motion for that? Beth, Josh, all those in favor? Thank you for making them, being able to see what they are now rather than having them written out. Yeah, yeah. Discussion action items, the appointment of the 24-25 Board of Education committee assignments. Those were sent out by Jill. Does anyone have any questions? Are we okay with these? Do I have a motion to, oh, Paul, oh, and Amanda, all those in favor? Unanimous, great. Amendment to the Board of Education bylaws. This was just adding a word. So if either the board president or vice president couldn't be on a specific committee, we could have a designee. So just covers us. Somebody can't. So do I have a motion to accept the change to our bylaws? Beth, Mark, all in
Question,
favor?
Al.
Oh, yes, please.
Any designee or another board member?
Another board member.
Okay.
All those in favor? Thank you. Resolution to create 2.0 FTE teaching assistants at Gillette Road. Dan, do you have anything you want to say on these?
We've had an increased need with special education programs and trying to make sure that we're meeting those needs. So we need those teaching assistants to make sure we're meeting the IEP and the legal statutes.
Do I have a motion? Josh, second. Beth, any questions? All those in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Resolution to create and abolish certain coaching positions in girls wrestling, cross country, and indoor and outdoor track. These are just changes we have for supervision reasons. Do I have a motion for this? Amanda, Xavier, any questions?
Amen. I fully support this. I would ask our leadership to talk to Mr. Bernarski about another unified coach. These are the special needs kids in our district who are amazing, as Dan knows and Chris knows, but it's expanding with the bowling and with the basketball. We need more supervision there too. So I just would ask you, down the road, I'd like to see it on the agenda.
Are you looking at an assistant?
Do you have assistant? I don't know. I believe.
All those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution to create a 0.5 FTE music teacher at Gillette Road Middle School, again for student enrollment needs. Do I have a motion for that? Xavier, Beth, any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I know that we had some issues with declining enrollment in some of the music electives at the high school. Just making sure that with doing this, which I'm glad that we are, that when we are promoting different music courses and things like that, trying to start that in July, in the middle schools and things like that to make sure that when the time comes, we're not losing kids dropping off at the high school.
This is going to help because one of the things that was happening is there are certain music things that were happening after school hours. They've changed their schedule. That's incorporating music opportunities during the day, which is going to increase the need and thus keep kids involved instead of them deciding to do something else.
That's great. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that, Dan.
All those in favor? That's unanimous. Consideration of contract award. So do I have a motion to award Syracuse Haulers the contract for our trash and recyclables? Mark and Josh, all of those. That's unanimous. Thank you. And you can see the other vendors in there that came in over Syracuse Haulers. And the resolution to appropriate additional fund balance to cover the foundation aid shortfall. Don, do you have anything that you'd like to? A motion for that? Bob, second from Amanda. Don, if you would.
The only thing I would add is that we're very concerned about the 24-25 budget and normally when we have variances, we would wait a little longer in the year to see how things materialize. But since this revenue shortfall is known and so significant, we felt that it would make sense to address it right up front. And so that's why we proposed this.
Any comments from the board? Xavier?
I just want to say a quick comment. This boils down to this is ridiculous. Like we shouldn't have to do this at the end of the day. It's utterly ridiculous that we didn't know about this until after the budget process. I'm very disappointed in the governor's office for us having to do this. We've been complaining about it for years. We were fully funded last year. We were under the assumption we were going to be fully funded this year, and then they pulled the rug out last minute. I hope that during this study that they find a formula where it fulfills their promise of giving us the money that we are owed. And I really hope we're not in the same situation next year, but I try to be as optimistic as possible, but it's really hard after what the governor has shown these past couple of years.
I just want to comment too. They are going around the state at this time with comments from Foundation. Unfortunately, Central New York, it's the first week of August, but it's near, it's Oneonta. It's near Oneonta. So, we need to get some input into this. Being your legislative person, I'm going to contact the School Boards Association and just say that we're disappointed that, we don't have one here. I mean, Oneonta is quite a distance away. So you are absolutely correct.
Josh?
I just want to add, thank you to the legislature because this could have been a lot worse. The legislature did help a lot to make up the gap that the governor proposed because it was supposed to be a lot worse. So thank you to them. And hopefully moving forward, we can figure out something with this formula and get the money that we need here. And thank you, Don, for doing this, by the way. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say thank you to Don and your team for, making magic. It's crazy what you guys have done with this nonsense.
Anyone else? So this is a roll call. I, that passes. Thank you. We have some NSCEF awards tonight, so I'd like a motion to accept the two that are going to Danielle Rousa and Danielle Pravelli. Do I have a motion for that? Bob, Beth, all those in favor? That is unanimous, and I'd like to thank the NSCF for their continued support for our programs. Before we get into personnel, there's a retirement I'd like to acknowledge. We have Lisa Catalano as a school bus driver who's retiring with 24 years of service. So I'd like to wish her on behalf of the board a long and healthy retirement. Instructional personnel report A, do we need an executive session before we take this? Okay, do I have a motion? Bob and Josh, all of those in favor?
Have in the audience, somebody that a new board member knows, Julie Brown, who was a former teacher in our district, has come back. And Maureen Gray has come back. And it's great to see old faces come back and with us again.
Thank you, Bob. All those in favor? Unanimous? So, yes, congratulations and welcome back. Support staff, do I have a motion to put personnel B before us? Xavier, Amanda, all of those in favor? Unanimous? And administrative personnel report C. Do I have a motion, Mr. Crabtree and Dr. Kramer? All those in favor?
I know somebody, and she's here tonight, and I believe she'll be invited in 2 weeks to come meet us personally, but I am so excited that our new Director of Diverse Learning Instructional Support is Jennifer DiBianco, a former, when it was Bear Road School student, and not one of mine. It is so great to have somebody come back in a directorship. And I welcome you. I know the rest of the board, and we'll meet you in 2 weeks, I believe. I know she hasn't got it yet. We got to vote.
All those in favor? Unanimous. Jen, congratulations and welcome. We're very happy to have you. Everybody. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of reviewing one negotiation matter and 2 personnel matters with no action to follow. Do I have a second? Amanda, all those in favor? That's unanimous. And do I have a motion to adjourn? Josh, Xavier, all those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.